Western Water Assessment is an applied research program that works directly with communities, water managers, hazard planners, and other partners in Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming to help them make the best use of science to manage for hazard impacts like drought, wildfire, or flooding. And in 2017, we launched a series of workshops directly with communities to help them plan for risks that they were facing. In 2018, we worked closely with community members in Carbondale, community leaders, to plan a workshop focused on drought. Carbondale is located in the Roaring Fork Valley in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. And they were really worried about drought. In 2018, they had a really serious drought, and they were concerned about having enough water for residents to be able to use.
So July 4th of that year, the Lake Christine fire happened. That fire was not an immediate threat from a wildfire perspective to Carbondale, but what was happening, we were an evacuation site, so we saw this spike in our sewer production at the sewer plant. If the fire had successfully knocked out the primary power source to the valley, our sewer plant would have gone down. Much of our primary municipal supply comes from and came from the Crystal River. And so essentially our primary municipal supply of water was under threat that year as well.
At the Carbondale workshop, we provided a short talk providing the latest science about flooding, drought, other hazards that the community was facing. But we really spent the rest of the time with the community leaders and the community members identifying key risks that they were facing related to drought and specific impacts of drought on the community. And then we helped them brainstorm specific actions that they could take to build resilience and plan for those risks.
We're a small community, 6,500 people. We have really limited resources. We have a small municipal budget, all things considered. And so to have WWA come with all the resources and the funding in place to bring us through this process and that workshop, it was an incredible opportunity. The resources that they brought in both provided a scientific basis for having the conversation and also the ability to facilitate the conversation on a number of different levels. So really focusing on what are the threats and what are the hazards, and how would we respond? There were a number of different action steps that we were able to put together when we went through that process with WWA. We immediately embarked on more resiliency in our park spaces. Parks and Recreation immediately saw a difference in how they could approach irrigation. They could do deep watering and turn it off for 3 or 4 days at a time. Made a huge difference in how much water we were putting in our own park spaces. As we evaluated what was happening with the municipal water supply, part of what we were able to do was create an action plan around how we could increase access to what we have in our portfolio for water rights. So we now have redundancy with our municipal water supply that we did not have in 2018. We started to look at the sewer plant and our treatment plant. So when we left the workshop, the trustees were working with Public Works to try and figure out what our backup system would be.
So whenever an organization like Western Water Assessment brings communities into this discussion, you can see a lot of cascading benefits from that. Being able to come together and go through a process like this allows for people to understand the necessity of this kind of planning and to consider what organizations exist that might be appropriate to do this kind of work.
It's really tough being out in the West and knowing that our droughts are here to stay, they're gonna be around. Anything we can do to say, oh, we thought a little bit about that like scenario. Like, here are 3 things you could be ready to do. It's like having your bag ready, your go bag. It's like doing that as a community.